Look up at the night sky. Thousands of stars sparkle, and planets move along their invisible paths. The universe is vast and full of wonders. But have you ever wondered, can planets actually crash into each other? What if Earth smashed into another planet? That would be wild. Don't worry, planets follow special paths, like a giant space dance. But is there any chance of them bumping into each other? Let's find out. Imagine the solar system like a giant cosmic dance floor. At the center is the sun, and all the planets move around it in perfect order. Each planet moves in a set path, called an orbit. It's like they're following invisible tracks in space, all controlled by the sun's powerful gravity. Let's take a closer look. The planets are arranged in a special order: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, then the giant planets: Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. The sun is like a giant magnet, pulling the planets and keeping them from flying away. Without its gravity, the planets would just drift off into space. But don't worry, these paths are very stable, and the planets have been following them for billions of years, like a well-practiced dance. But just how far apart are these planets? You might be surprised. It's a lot more space than you think. If planets are always moving, does that mean they might crash into each other? Not really. Let's imagine Earth is a tiny marble in your hand. If you took just one big step away, where would the moon be? About 4 meters away. The sun's gravity acts like an invisible hand, keeping each planet in its own path. Now, if the sun were the size of a giant beach ball, Earth would be way over there, 16.5 meters away. That's like tossing a ball across a swimming pool. It's like the planets are riding on invisible train tracks that never cross. And Mars? It's even farther, 25 meters. Imagine running across a basketball court just to reach it. These orbits are so stable, they have stayed the same for millions of years. Jupiter, the biggest planet, would be nearly 45 meters away. That's as far as a school bus is long. Even though they move fast, they never crash into each other because their paths don't cross. Saturn and its beautiful rings? You'd have to walk even farther, almost across a football field. Thanks to this amazing system, planets keep moving safely, like a giant cosmic dance. By the time we reach Neptune and Pluto, we're talking hundreds of meters. Our solar system is huge. Gravity is like an invisible hand, holding the planets in place. Without it, everything would just float away into space. The sun is like a giant magnet, pulling all the planets toward it. But instead of pulling them in, it makes them move around in perfect circles. Imagine you're spinning a toy on a string. The string keeps it from flying away, just like gravity keeps planets moving in their orbits. If planets are moving so fast, why don't they crash? Because their orbits are like lanes on a racetrack. Gravity keeps them in line. Planets don't stay in the exact same spot forever. Their orbits shift a little, but gravity gently pulls them back into place. If gravity disappeared, Earth wouldn't just sit still. It would zoom straight off into space. But don't worry, that won't happen. Gravity doesn't just hold planets, it also keeps moons in orbit. That's why the moon stays near Earth instead of floating away. From stars to galaxies, gravity holds everything together. Without it, the universe would be a big scattered mess. Thanks to gravity, our solar system is safe and stable. So whenever you look up at the stars, remember, gravity is always at work. Gravity is like an invisible hand, holding the planets in place. Without it, everything would just float away into space. The sun is like a giant magnet, pulling all the planets toward it. But instead of pulling them in, it makes them move around in perfect circles. Imagine you're spinning a toy on a string. The string keeps it from flying away, just like gravity keeps planets moving in their orbits. If planets are moving so fast, why don't they crash? Because their orbits are like lanes on a racetrack. Gravity keeps them in line. Planets don't stay in the exact same spot forever. Their orbits shift a little, but gravity gently pulls them back into place. If gravity disappeared, Earth wouldn't just sit still. It would zoom straight off into space. But don't worry, that won't happen. Gravity doesn't just hold planets, it also keeps moons in orbit. That's why the moon stays near Earth instead of floating away. From stars to galaxies, gravity holds everything together. Without it, the universe would be a big scattered mess. Thanks to gravity, our solar system is safe and stable. So whenever you look up at the stars, remember, gravity is always at work. Billions of years ago, our solar system looked very different. Planets were still forming, moving wildly, and crashing into each other. Scientists believe that Earth once crashed into a planet the size of Mars. The impact was so massive that it sent huge chunks of rock flying into space. Over time, those pieces came together, forming the moon we see today. And Earth wasn't the only one. The scars on the moon and Mercury are proof of giant impacts from long ago. But slowly, over millions of years, the planet's orbits became more stable. Big collisions almost completely stopped. Now, planets move in fixed orbits, far apart from each other. So don't worry, Earth isn't crashing into anything anytime soon. Planets usually follow their paths like well-behaved dancers in a cosmic ballet. But what would it take to knock them off course? One possibility? A rogue planet, a wandering world from deep space, could drift into our solar system and shake things up. If a massive object came too close, its gravity could pull planets out of their orbits, leading to chaos or even a collision. Or what if our sun changed? If it lost mass or exploded? Don't worry, it won't for billions of years. It could disturb the balance of the planets. Luckily, these scenarios are extremely rare. Space is vast, and gravity keeps everything in place, making planetary crashes nearly impossible. While dramatic collisions are great for sci-fi stories, they're not something we need to fear. Our solar system is safe and stable, at least for millions of years to come. So, can planets collide? The answer is almost never. Thanks to gravity, planets stay in their safe, stable orbits. The sun's powerful gravity keeps everything in place, and the vast distances between planets make collisions nearly impossible. The universe is full of mysteries, but one thing is certain. Our solar system is a safe and fascinating place. So keep looking up and exploring the wonders of space.